Hello, darkness, my old friend. You've come to talk with me again. Sens lose 3-2 to the Boston Bruins. And can anybody answer me this? How come it is every time the Senators play some of their best hockey of the season, they always lose? It's almost like it called that or something. An excellent effort against a good team, and they still find a way to lose. Now obviously you've got to give some of the credit to the Bruins, who are on a 19-game point streak, with their last loss in regulation coming in the middle of January. But the Sens still need to do a better job of at least getting that game to overtime. 2-1 lead late in the game, and you give up 2 goals and lose. That just can't happen. Now obviously, like I mentioned, you've got to give the Bruins some credit. They haven't lost in regulation in 20 games, with their last loss in regulation coming a month and a half ago, and the last time they lost by more than a goal in regulation was exactly 2 months ago. But the Sens were there, and they had a chance to end that point streak, and that's the frustrating part. As always though, let's kick things off with lineup changes. And for the 4th game in a row, the Sens dressed the same 18 skaters. Christian Jaros continues to deal with an injury and continues to be the lone scratch. In goal, Andy got the start after being given Thursday night off. After a relatively quiet first period that sees the Bruins outshoot the Sens 12-6, we head to the second tied at 0, and the Bruins finally get on the board. Torrey Krug rings one off the post early in the period, but then around the midway mark, Magnus Pääjärvi gets sent off, and the Bruins finally get their goal. The Bruins dominate the puck, the Sens can't clear it out, and finally, Krug sends a cross-ice pass to Marchand, he one-times one by Anderson, and it's 1-0 Bruins. You play with fire long enough, you get burned, and the Sens will be putting aloe on their bodies after this one. But not even a minute later, Tkachuk forces a turnover behind the Bruins net, he tries to wrap it around, he loses the puck, it lands on the stick of Pageau, he wires one by Rask, and just like that, we're tied at 1. Pageau, 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 Pageau. That's his 3rd of the season since returning from injury, and 2nd in 4 games. Tkachuk extends his point streak to 3 straight with the assist, and what a smart play by him too. Tkachuk spent most of the season playing with Stone, and he seemed to learn something from him. That was a smart play and a terrific force of the turnover. The teams trade some chances, but neither find the back of the net, as the Sens get lucky and head to the second intermission, tied at 1. And when I say lucky, I mean lucky, as Achari and Bergeron both hit the post in the final few minutes. Thankfully, neither shot went posting in. And heading to the 3rd period, the Bruins lead the Sens 3-0 in post hit, but we're still tied at 1. You've got to be lucky to be good, and good to be lucky, and last night, the Sens were. At least for the first couple periods. Then early in the 3rd, we get the Chris Tierney show. He forces a turnover in the neutral zone, skates into the Bruins zone, fires a shot on goal, Rask turns it aside, McAvoy picks up the rebound, Tierney then forces another turnover, steals the puck back, takes it hard to the net, loses it, but Brady Tkachuk is Johnny on the spot, he picks it up, puts it in the empty net, and just like that, Ottawa leads 2-1. Chris Tierney, man. You want to talk about a will to and a want to? That's exactly what that was. He absolutely dominated that play. He wanted that puck, and he was going to do whatever it took to get it, and he finally got it, and the Sens got a goal because of it. But the Bruins weren't done there. Krug sends a shot on goal, Wagner tips it in front, it rolls and trickles its way by Anderson, and we're tied at 2. What a tough break. I mean, you can literally watch the puck roll in, and you can watch Anderson kind of watch it roll in and think, "Ah, man, there's not a thing I can do to stop that." And honestly, credit to Ben Harpur on the play. I thought he did a really good job on Wagner. But an even bigger credit to Wagner on the play, who did an incredible job to get his stick on that puck and redirect it by Anderson. Harpur had the body position and had his stick tied up. Wagner kind of reached behind him and got it to tip it in. Just a tough one for the Sens. Then with under a minute to play, the Bruins win the game. Grzelcyk sends a pass up the ice to Heinen. He gets it at the Sens blue line, skates into the zone. The Sens back up, give him all the space in the world. He cuts into the middle, fires a shot on goal. Krejci tips it by Anderson, and the Bruins lead 3-2. Just brutal. I honestly don't even know what to say. That just can't happen, and it shouldn't happen. It was awful, and I'm just left speechless. That's how you're gonna lose the game? With less than a minute left? You were a minute away from overtime, and you do that? Thankfully, because the Bruins grabbed the lead so late, the Sens really don't have a chance to pull their goalie and can't give up a free goal as the Bruins skate away with a 3-2 win. How they lost that game is just so upsetting. It's frustrating, it's disappointing, it's just about any word you can think of. Let's just get into good news, bad news. Following the game last night, Mark Crawford did an interview with the media and he was hot, and that is the good news. Crawford gave his team some props for the way they played for the majority of the game, but he lambasted them with the way they finished the hockey game, and they absolutely deserved it. That last goal was completely unacceptable. You cannot give up a goal like that at that time in the game to lose the hockey game. The Sens did that, and Crawford let them know about it. With such a young team, one of the keys is going to be to learn from your mistakes. Well, with Crawford kind of subtly calling the team out last night, it should help them with that learning curve. Now, you don't want to call them out every game, but last night was a good time to do it. The Sens have played pretty well over the last little while, but haven't won any of their hockey games. That's 3 straight games you could have argued the Sens easily should have won, or at least gotten to overtime, and none of those games they won, and only one of them they got to overtime. Crawford was hot last night, and it sent a message to his team, or at least it should have. It certainly sent a message to me, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a positive one. Those kind of mistakes, while yes, they're learning mistakes, will not be tolerated. Crawford sent them the message last night, and that is the good news. Now, for the bad news. Ottawa's power play let them down last night, and that is the bad news. Obviously, they're trying to work their way through these new power play units with Stone, Duchesne, and Dzingel gone, but last night still was not nearly good enough. The Sens had 3 power plays last night, yet finished 0 for 3. 3 power plays, yet the shots were 4 for Ottawa and 4 for Boston. And the scoring chances were 4 for Ottawa and 2 for Boston. Anytime you have a power play that isn't scoring, is giving up as many shots as the other team, and is giving up half as many scoring chances as the other team, it's just not good enough. The power play last night just kept giving the momentum away. You can't expect to win games when you can't even keep the momentum on your own power play. Ottawa continuously shot themselves in the foot with their power play last night, and that is the bad news. Next up, the Sens wrap up their brief 2-game road trip on Monday night with a visit to Philadelphia to take on the Flyers. The contest will be the 3rd and final meeting of the season between the two teams, with each team taking one of the first 2 games. The Flyers won 7-4 in Ottawa in October, and the Sens won 4-3 in Philadelphia in November. Since then, though, the Flyers have been a much better hockey team, winning 5 of their last 7 games, pulling themselves to within 5 points of the final playoff spot in the East. Offensively, the Flyers have been red hot recently, so if the Sens hope to pick up a win, they're going to need to focus on playing solid defense. It starts with a solid effort and goal, but continues with covering your man, playing smart, and managing the puck. If the Sens can do those things, they should have a shot. See you Monday night.